Hoda's Career Info is brought to you by Right Career Fit. Finding your next job or your career path should not be a mystery that needs to be solved. Book your appointment at rightcareerfit.com and let's have that very important career conversation.
The opportunity for career services has really changed, and there's a real disconnect and gap for people who are actually could benefit from having career services. This whole industry of career development work, it's limitless what you can be doing and how you can be helping. Take the time and choose people who are different than you are to be in your dragon boat. In this journey of career development, you shouldn't be in the back seat in your career. There is actually this opportunity to be in the front seat and driving that career. I really think career literacy is for everyone.
Thank you for joining me in Season 2 of Hoda's Career Info, your career program where I seek to explore career answers and share stories about the great work done by the career development community. How do I accomplish this? One interview at a time. I am Hoda, your host. I look forward to another season of career chats with inspirational guests and insightful feedback from you, the audience. Ready to meet this week's guest? My guest today is Gayle Draper. Gayle is the founder of Intentional Careers HR, which offers a robust menu of services, including targeted resumes and LinkedIn profiles, as well as coaching people through the career transition process. Gayle is known for her energizing and inspiring coaching approach. She is a dynamic and published member of the Forbes Coaching Council. Gayle is a certified human resources leader and holds multiple career practitioner designations. She is also certified with DISC, Personality Dimensions, and is a master coach with TypeCoach. Gayle has become a recognized speaker and facilitator, offering insights and practical content that can be easily implemented. She is a natural at facilitating movement forward as she coaches people through employment transitions, leadership growth, and to become more successful in the workplace. I look forward to hearing your thoughts on the tips and advice she shared. Let's go. Thank you, Gayle Draper. I always give my guests a bit of a teaser to get them going. And the teaser is, what would be your career term in your world of work? What would you say is one of your key messages within that word, uh, of course, related to the career development field and the services that you provide?
It's actually an excellent question, because one of the things I love about what you're doing is when you've worked in the careers industry for quite a few years, like I have, the opportunity for career services has really changed. And there's a real disconnect and gap for people who are actually could benefit from having career services and understanding there is some career literacy that could affect their entire work experience. And I think because I've worked in government funded services in the earlier days, very targeted programming that I might have been teaching, whether that was I did a lot of computer training, to be honest with you, career mapping, all of those kinds of trainings. And then the people who are participating there, they got career counseling because they were on employment insurance at the time. And that was sort of my leg into that. And, now what we know and has becoming more and more aware is the general public starts to realize maybe I would benefit from a career coach, not because I have been restructured and maybe I was introduced being outplacement or a trailing partner program, but maybe because um, I think people come for career services because they think it's about a resume. And then when they actually start to realize, wow, the real benefit of this experience, yes, an output was a resume, but how and where am I going was the real benefit. And I think that's part of career literacy, just the awareness to every person in every occupation, how important that is. And I, I'm sort of on a mission, I guess you could say. Maybe that's a bit strong, but I want more and more employers to be offering it to their staff while they're working, not so they necessarily stay there longer, perhaps stay there better longer, but also it helps their entire industry. So I'd like to see more and more of that be happening with career literacy, that we all know it's for everyone and we need to be inclusive. I think we have targeted career programs, career development programs for unique populations, which is fantastic. But I really think career literacy is for everyone.
And thank you for that. I love your mission and I agree with you. And that's really part of what I'm pushing for, is to have people learn about that before they need it. Another question I usually ask my guests is to tell us a little bit about your background. So many career development professionals have transitioned from different career paths before coming to the career development field. Is that your case? And whether yes or no, what led you to the career development field?
So my first career, actually, I wanted to be a high school phys ed teacher. I was always in the gym, very social, loved it. Was sort of swayed away from that, at the last part of high school. And I found this program at Seneca College for artistic women's gymnastics coaching. And there was a figure skating, coaching, and tennis program for 2 years. So I actually took a year off and I traveled throughout the UK with a friend, staying at her family, and then came back and went to school for that. And I loved it. My first week there, though, it was very evident by the program coordinator that I did not have the gymnastics background. I went to small town Meaford High School, and our gymnastics skills were not very high because we never had a private club anywhere in our area. And he actually suggested that I change programs, and which I have to tell you was really not a great thing to receive for content. And then I said to him, I'm quite sure that Bella Carusi could not do what he taught Nadia Comaneci to do, and I'm going to stick it out. Thank you very much. And I did. And yes, most of the people in the program had been provincial or national competitive gymnasts that wanted a career in coaching. And I loved it. It was really enjoyable. I met some amazing people. I actually have a small piece in Canada's gold medal winner for rhythmic gymnastics in our early part of her career. But I knew I would never make a living. And if I ever got injured, it would be the end of my coaching career. So I returned and I took business. And I really loved marketing. And I actually ended up downtown at Bay and Bloor in Toronto doing direct mail marketing and insurance company. We pioneered it. And what I learned there about myself was, yes, I love marketing, but I was coaching people. We hired a lot of people for different programs. I trained them. They moved on when the program closed. But it was that coaching piece that I realized, and that teaching piece was that common thread. And it really has been that same thread throughout my whole year. So I always encourage clients to go back and look for the common thread of skill sets. And but I knew I'd never stay in Toronto. It was not a desire for me. I grew up on a farm outside of Collingwood, Ontario, so I really wanted back in the small town life. The sea of strangers was absolutely not for me. Um, so my husband and I returned back here. My first official resume writing gig, I found a newspaper when we knew we were leaving Toronto, moving from Collingwood, and it was folded open in the Globe and Mail. And I'm a newspaper hound, I saw one on the bus. With a bus I didn't typically have to take. So I think the universe had a plan there, and it was a role that my husband applied for, and I helped him write his resume. And that was my first official resume writing gig. And he's still working at that company 35 years later, and it's been an amazing company. So I'm very grateful for that. But that was my first kind of resume gig, and then lived in Collingwood here, and I taught computers because my work at Crown Life, you could take as many computer courses as you wanted. So there's a common joke where I live where it used to take 2 years for things to get up to 400, and I came with all those skills. So that I taught a lot of people who were leaving manufacturing how to use computers in office administration at Georgian College, actually, at that time. And that's really where I evolved my skills in facilitation and training, resume writing, career planning, and continued that path in working in those types of work right through till probably about 10 years ago when I started my business. I turned 50, and I always wanted to have a business. My parents always did. And I thought, I'm going to try it for a year and see if I can be successful with it. And I've never looked back. I have enjoyed intentional careers in human resources now for almost 10 years. And I love the variety that it comes and the opportunities for different types of work and different types of clients.
And you have accomplished so much post that. And I do have a question about that a little bit later. Okay. So thank you for sharing your journey. We did have a chat before, and I tend to pull out some advice that is shared by professionals like yourself and write it down. And this is one of the things that I wrote down from our chat. You should have a dragon boat, not a kayak, of people who support you. Yeah. I usually tell my clients that they need accountability partners, is what I call them, but people who are going to support them and be there for them. And I usually say 3 to 5 people is enough. But your statement, you're saying a dragon boat, got me thinking whether 3 to 5 people is enough. So I am curious, and I would love to hear you elaborate to me and to the audience your thoughts on this statement.
Well, thank you for prompting that comment. I always say a dragon boat rather than a kayak. I first been introduced to a kayak when I was a junior ranger in Sioux Lookout, Ontario, for a summer. Best summer of my life. I would encourage anybody to have their children to attend that program. And here in Collingwood, we have dragon boat races in the past, and groups of people come together and they train for weeks and they compete in the dragon boat, and they're quite large. And it is a commitment, but it is a real team that is competing. And I like that term because many people like to keep things close to their vest. They're going to change jobs, so they don't want to tell anybody. They don't share with what they're concerned about. And I don't think that's the healthiest way to have a vibrant career. And I always suggest, I have a dragon boat of selected people that are my confidants. I trust them. They advise me. I can ask for their wisdom, and I can share mine back to them. And in this journey of career development, whether you're a solopreneur like I am, or if you're in the workplace, take the time and choose people who are different than you are to be in your dragon boat that can advise you. They could be from your circle of support, which is, I think, what you've been talking about, or your circle of influence, or maybe it's also someone who is in a paid role that is a specialist that's coming to support you. But what you're doing is realizing, it's wonderful to kayak on a calm bay and enjoy that. Absolutely. But in reality, life is rarely like that. We have choppy seas, and frequently for our clients, they don't know which shore to even paddle towards. So a dragon boat gives you more support, it's more stable, and it's not just you uh, looking at what direction you might go. It could be someone else who's influencing you and helping you find the safer shore and the shore that has things that you want to be doing in it.
I like how you said it's not just so close circle, but to kind of go beyond that to role models, perhaps. And that's great advice. You have to be careful what you tell me, because it's going to come back and haunt you. You compared the role of career professionals again in our chat to driving instructors, and you said that our role as career professionals is to teach our clients to drive their career. I love this metaphor, and particularly because I aim to educate my clients, and we've talked about before, to take charge of their career. What does this metaphor mean to you and your work?
So many years ago, when I taught career mapping, we used the book Accelerate by Nuala Beck, who was a Canadian economist. And one of the chapters in that was, in the past, you could wait for the bus to drive by your house. There was a job, you hopped on the bus and away you went to work. And now we want more, we need more, and how we deliver services are different. So there is a terminology of being the CEO of your career or the driver of your career. And I always share with clients that we are on a road trip together. It could be for 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, depending on, what the relationship is, but they drive the car in the road trip. I'm in the passenger seat. They choose where they want to go to explore. But I'm there also as that voice saying, hey, had you also considered this? You have these strengths, let's consider this. These transferable skills are, A, B, C, and D, let's explore this. And we do that journey together in the road trip. I think it's really important that people realize that you shouldn't be in the back seat in your career. And a lot of people, definitely in the past, have been, and some people are in the trunk of that road trip. And that's not where we want people to be either. And sometimes the coaching there is just about the ability and the confidence to actually realize that you can be in the back seat and then eventually driving your own car. So that's how I look at it, as it's a road trip. People need to learn how to drive that car in their career, and also know that it's their absolute right to be doing that and to be selective where they want their career to go to and what they want their career to look like.
Definitely more great advice coming from you. And sometimes I also think that people just don't know that they need to do that. And that's the first step. For all your work and your great advice, Gayle, you have received many awards, including, but not only that one, but including having started a mentoring program and supported over 175 startups. What new or unique projects are you involved now or going into the future?
Well, a few actually. And just before I go into that, I also want to say, that's the wonderful thing about what you're doing, is this opportunity for people to watch these interviews that you are doing. It's not just to help people in our field, but it's to also help people who may realize, I don't need to be in the trunk and I don't need to be in the back seat. There is actually this opportunity to be in the front seat and driving that career. So thank you for what you're doing. So I work with the small business enterprise centers. They're all over Ontario, and I've worked with the starter company program. I built a mentoring program. I designed it. I recruit the mentors and train them. I match them with the entrepreneurs in each cohort. I think I'm actually up to about 200 people now that I have matched, different businesses, and they have ranged from everything imaginable, which is one of the things I love about entrepreneurship. I teach some of the courses in that, which I love, and I train the mentors so they know, what good mentorship is, and the mentees know how to get the best out of their mentoring relationship, because a lot of times people have no experience or they have some assumptions. So I've designed a formal mentoring program there that won an award of excellence with Career Pro Canada. So I'm very proud of that program. I also won a program in the earlier days when I started my business. I did a pilot project for about 4 years with the Simcoe County Learning Centers, which are for adult learning, and the Ministry of Education. And we did a project for single parents. There were pilots throughout Ontario, which was fantastic to be involved in, because everyone shared what they were learning, and we could design programs based on the needs of our school board participants. So these single parents had left high school. Perhaps it could have been for many reasons, but now that they're coming back trying to obtain their grade 12, they have infants or toddlers or children in tow, and they need extra support. So I was involved developing that program throughout the learning centers in Simcoe County. We built curriculum around that you could receive high school credits. So in parenting, nutrition, we taught daily living skills. Not every family has role models of parents that are going to help them when they become their own parents. We did everything from sewing to shopping, budgeting. We also did a literacy program where the library came to the learning center, taught everyone how to read to their infants or toddlers, and how to foster literacy in the home. And at that time, we were truly trying to understand what family literacy was. So when you asked me about career literacy, it really connected a lot of dots for me on this overarching piece of career literacy. So yes, that pilot project is one of the proudest things I've ever done in my life. We affected so many people getting their grade 12, the family experience. We were able to really make a difference there. We built the whole program based on Dr. Ruby Payne's work, Bridges Out of Poverty, and everyone was trained to actually understand what poverty is. Not everybody in the program had those challenges, but we built the program around that, and we also incorporated Bob Wheely's One Smart World as part of that, which was actually happening throughout the learning centers. So that program, I also won a National Award of Excellence for my work there, and I absolutely loved that experience also. Yeah.
Well, you're definitely a great role model and a hidden gem, as Wayne Pagani told me. And and this is a great project. And so is it only a pilot project? Is it going to be repeated? When you mentioned the word pilot project, that caught my attention.
So that pilot project was for, we were able to get funding from the Ministry of Education every year. So we did that for about 4 years, and we were able to tweak each pilot, each cohort. So we kind of had like 6 or 8 mini pilots. And we also were able to share with the other 7 pilots what we were doing. I remember managing to get family passes from the YMCA just to help with wellness overall for our families. And when I talked about that, every other, the Thunder Bay, Toronto, all of the other people involved in this pilot, they were knocking on the door of the YMCAs, trying to challenging them that if we were able to get it, they should be able to. And so that's why I loved it, because it was very it was like a volcano erupting each other, all these other possibilities. And that part, to me, that collaboration and sharing ideas is very rewarding, and you get to meet wonderful people. So I think this whole industry of career development work, it's limitless, what you can be doing and how you can be helping. It's a fantastic industry.
I totally agree. I do feel the collaborative, spirit within this field, and very proud of it for sure.
Yes.
These were all the questions I have prepared for you today, Gayle. Was there anything else you were hoping I would ask, but I didn't, or you would add something to wrap up?
I would just say also, if someone is watching this video, and they're looking at this industry as an occupation for themselves, as their profession, please reach out to me, do an informational interview. I have to say, I have so many clients who are providing those for new clients. It's a wonderful thing. So I'm happy to share that opportunity with me or with someone else and set you up for some support there. But I would also say, you become more wise when you've worked in an industry for a long time. And whether I'm working with single parents, entrepreneurs, professionals, I actually did a lot of work with Navy SEALs the last 4 years in the US, helping them transition from the military into civilian life, whether that be a learning plan, a job search strategy, whatever that is, coaching just on how to work in a non-military environment with work. Whatever those groups of people are, the common thread to me is people all have basically the same challenges. And no matter where they're coming from or where they're going to, we get to be this intersection of change, of hope, and help people realize what they have to offer. And that's the part that makes me very joyful, is this opportunity to really help people recognize their strengths, have a little road trip with me moving forward, and then continue to be connected in this next chapter, this next phase of life.
Great advice, and yes, I agree with you. It's so much fun to see when we support our clients to success and to see them in the driver's seat, as you say.
Yes.
So thank you so much for your time, Gayle, and I hope we can stay in touch.
I hope so too, and thank you so much for having me. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here.
Thank you for joining me and Gayle Draper in this episode of Hoda's Career Info 2022. I hope that Gayle's message helps you to hop in your career and start driving in the front seat. You can connect with Gayle on LinkedIn and on her website, intentionalcareershr.com. Please remember that you can listen to Hoda's Career Info since it's also dropped as a podcast. To let me know if you are interested in an opportunity to talk about your work, you can send me a direct message on my website, rightcareerfit.com, where you can also sign up for my newsletter to stay up to date on the latest episodes. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and follow me on social media for more career info. I am your host, Hoda. Until next time, stay inspired and keep sitting in the driver's seat.